The legacy of Musashi in the changing world of today. When unpredictability is the only constant, never before have the lessons of Musashi been more relevant. Through his life and wisdom, we can uncover the secrets to navigating our own challenges, no matter how insurmountable they may seem. So, as we delve into the world of Musashi, remember that it's not just about the art of the sword, but also the art of outsmarting, staying 10 steps ahead, and harnessing a genius that transcends eras. The world may have changed, with battles now taking place in boardrooms rather than on sandy shores, but the principles of strategic foresight and adaptability remain as crucial as ever. Welcome to Miyamoto Musashi's legacy. If the adversity of Musashi's journey gave rise to legends, then Miyamoto Musashi's tale serves as evidence of that reality arising from the murk of a politically charged and fractious Japan. During the late 16th century, Musashi's journey took place against the backdrop of a turbulent era. Orphaned at an early age, he was not raised by the comforts of familial warmth, but was instead thrust into a world where survival wasn't guaranteed. It was in this crucible of hardships that the seeds of his strategic genius were sown. Every skirmish, every duel, and every loss taught him invaluable lessons rather than succumbing to the weight of these challenges. As he pursued his relentless goal, he not only became a master of the sword, but also a tactician of life. Each chapter of his journey, filled with trials and victories, contributed to the framework of his strategic brilliance. As we explore these episodes, we'll uncover the crucible moments that molded Musashi into the legendary figure he is celebrated as today. Although a sword may seem like a double-edged sword extension of the arm, a mere tool wielded by its master, for Musashi the sword was also a conduit of the mind, an instrument that showcased not just Physica Miyamoto. In addition to being a master swordsman, Musashi was also a thinker and a philosopher of war. While many warriors worked tirelessly to perfect their swordplay, Musashi realized early on that physical prowess alone would not make him superior. Rather, battles were won through complex mazes of strategy and foresight. This belief was fundamental to his martial artistry, as he devoted hours to perfecting his techniques, making sure every blow was accurate and every parry flawless. He also spent equal, if not more, time honing his mental skills, studying opponents to spot patterns and predict moves before they were made. In the history of martial arts, Musashi's duels frequently started long before the first blow was delivered. He would analyze the minds of his opponents, using strategies to confuse, intimidate, and foresee. His belief was that, although muscle memory and reflex were important in combat, the mind could prevail. He promoted the synthesis of mind and blade, teaching us that true mastery occurs when one can blend the material and the immaterial. Few literary works from the Book of Five Rings are as brilliant as Miyamoto Musashi's Go-In No-Sho, which elevates the book from a simple battle guidebook to something more. Digging deeply into the text, one can discover that it is divided into 5 books, each of which represents a ring or an element: earth, water, fire, wind, and the void, that showcases the philosophy, art, and understanding of strategy and existence that Hirakawa wrote. Each ring explores the intricacies of swordplay and warfare, while also translating to more general tactics, approaches, and ways of thinking. The water ring flows into concepts of flexibility and adaptability, illustrating the need to be fluid in one's approach. However, the brilliance of the Book of Five Rings lies in its applicability beyond the battlefield. For example, the Earth Ring lays the foundation discussing the fundamentals of martial arts and MHI's own style. Warriors, artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders find resonance in MHI's ideas on timing, rhythm perception, and understanding. He imparts to readers the ability to perceive the wider picture, to be flexible, to comprehend their surroundings, and, above all, to fundamentally understand who they. Go-In No-Sho is a monument to MHI's genius, providing a roadmap for outwitting obstacles in both combat and daily life. It's not just about outsmarting opponents with a sword, it's about overcoming challenges, comprehending the complexities of life, and navigating the world with an unwavering strategic mindset. Miyamoto Musashi's deep insight, the 5 novels explained, is exemplified by the way his masterpiece is divided into 5 books called elements. These components are not just chapters. Rather, they are individual pillars. They shed light on the various dimensions of strategy and life, demonstrating a well-balanced fusion of practical application and philosophical theory that melds to form a comprehensive roadmap for strategic thinking. Grounding oneself in fundamental principles and comprehending the terrain or environment in which we operate are symbolized by the Earth Book, which is the cornerstone of the martial arts curriculum. It highlights the significance of developing a solid foundation prior to mastering advanced techniques. The Earth Book also speaks to the essence of the MHI style, a lesson applicable to water flow and adaptation in any endeavor, not only battle, like in the fluidity of water that changes its route without losing its essence. The Water Book places a strong emphasis on flexibility and teaches readers how to change with the times, arguing that true mastery is found in the flexibility to change and flow, whether negotiating the whirlwinds of professional life or interpersonal relationships. Hai's observations on water serve as a reminder of its strength and adaptability. Flame's fervor and forcefulness. Beyond the battlefield, fire signifies more than just combat intensity, energy, and aggressive tactics. Ambition and a fierce will to succeed in one's endeavors. Musashi gives advice on how to properly channel this ferocious energy so that it turns into a tool rather than a harmful force. The older books concentrate on the methods and ideas of MHI, while the latter wind the styles of others. The Wind Book offers a comparison analysis that looks at various martial schools and aesthetics. In current terms, it's about market research, identifying competitors, and establishing oneself distinctively void the realm. It emphasizes the significance of comprehending external influences, competitors, and the broader environment. The void speaks to the place beyond technique, strategy, and form. It's the world of intuition, of being in the moment of zenith. It's possibly the most philosophical concept beyond technique. The term mastery refers to the state of mushin, or no mind, where the strategist acts from a place of profound inner clarity. As we traverse the elemental terrains that Musashi has laid out, it becomes clear that his wisdom goes beyond swordsmanship. He crafts a strategic guide that benefits anyone trying to carve out a path in life, urging us to strike a balance between our core values and adaptability, passion and understanding, technique and intuition. Miyamoto Musashi, although well known, one of the most fascinating tactics employed by the strategy of no sword, whose unmatched swordsmanship frequently demonstrated a brilliance that extended beyond the limitations of a blade, was his capacity to subdue opponents without ever taking out his weapon. This method, which emphasizes the art of victory outside of the battlefield, is more mental than physical. Musashi felt that it was important to fully comprehend the strengths and weaknesses of his opponents, fears, and inclinations. Because of his extensive knowledge, he was able to predict opponents' movements and places well in advance of actual combat. For Musashi, real combat was fought in the mind, with the sword acting only as an extension of the intellect. Psychological warfare. The weight of his reputation and his strategic posturing would unnerve his opponents by establishing dominance through demeanor and deliberate gestures. He frequently won the psychological battle, rendering the physical one unnecessary and projecting an image of invincibility. The power of presence and reputation is incalculable. Musashi was skilled at creating situations where his opponent felt surrounded or outmatched. He also controlled the perceptions of people around him by the impending shadow of failure rather than the imminent threat of a blade. The Zen idea of stillness amid chaos lies at the core of Hai's no-sword technique. By projecting calm and center, he made himself mysterious to his opponents. In a society where overt activity and loud gestures are sometimes misinterpreted for power, his stillness acts as both a shield and a weapon. Musashi's no-sword tactic serves as a reminder of the mental conflicts that go unseen and the great power of anticipation in restraint. It's evidence that on occasion, the most powerful tools we have are abstract concepts buried deep within our minds, although many in the realm of the martial arts of Niten Ichi-ryu followed traditions. Miyamoto Musashi's Neon Ichi-ryu technique, which he dared to design, is a monument to his inventiveness and foresight. Hai's use of dual-wielded blades was both bold and clever at an era when single-sword combat was the norm. This wasn't just showmanship, rather It was a deliberate reimagining of samurai combat dynamics, the synchronization of movements. The Nanichiru isn't just about wielding two swords, it's about coordinating their movements to smoothly convert defense into attack. As one blade parries, the other strikes in a steel dance. When confronted with an opponent wielding two blades, core choreographed to the beat of his heart to demonstrate his psychological superiority. The unpredictable nature of his movements, coupled with the striking presence of both weapons, often left opponents uneasy, giving Musashi an immediate psychological advantage that extended beyond the strategic depth of the blades. Nan-ichi-ryu was a lesson in adaptability, pushing us to reject convention and continually reinvent our strategies in order to embrace change rather than adaptability. It was not just about physical combat, it also embodied the philosophy of MHI, which is to always be one step ahead of the game, looking for openings and leveraging every advantage. Instead of rigorously sticking to one approach, Musashi welcomed change. He realized that in a setting that was always changing, adaptability was more than just a benefit. It was a need. Every opponent brought a new style or technique, and Musashi, with his keen observational abilities, would analyze these encounters. He kept up a few steps ahead of modern-day Musashi by taking what worked and throwing away what didn't. In today's fast-paced world, change is the only thing that stays the same. The capacity to adjust and adopt a flexible approach reflects the mindset of MHI, whether it be in personal or professional endeavors or while dealing with unforeseen obstacles. Adaptability is still essential. The subtlety and tact of MHI impart a valuable lesson to us. Success comes from embracing change, adapting to it, and using setbacks as stepping stones rather than from fighting it. Through the force of adaptation, we can mold our fate in the same way that water carves its way through the hardest rocks. Musashi Miyamoto, going beyond his lonely path, walk martial skill, left his wisdom is contained in a distilled form behind the Dudo. While his reputation as a master swordsman is well known, this revered document is more than just a list. It is a companion purr that Musashi forged from his life's experiences. The Dudo transcends the battlefield. It is a guide for navigating the complex terrains of everyday life, offering clarity in the midst of chaos. Beyond just martial arts knowledge, the Dudo provides insight into oneself and the subtleties of material attachments. The principles of MHI offer priceless insights and encourage us to make more thoughtful and careful decisions, stressing the need of strategic awareness and realizing that every problem becomes a puzzle that needs to be solved. Though centuries have passed since Musashi wrote these precepts, their essence is still universally applicable. Whether it's a contemporary boardroom conflict or personal struggles, the wisdom of the Dudo resonates in embracing it. By doing so, we inherit a mindset that helps us overcome the challenges of life, not by brute force, but rather by the elegance of cunning and strategy. Despite his legend, Miyamoto Musashi, it's important to analyze and comprehend both the praise and criticism of balancing the blade in order to get the full picture. Some people thought his tactics were unconventional or even dishonorable, while some believed that his strategies, particularly in psychological warfare, teetered on the verge of deceit. Others contend that Mahi's ideas are too inflexible or antiquated for the dynamic world of today. However, examining these accusations more closely provides insightful viewpoints. HI's unconventional approaches highlighted a fundamental tenet of strategy, the element of surprise. His psychological warfare methods focused on understanding human psychology rather than lying. Although the circumstances have changed, many of MHI's strategic ideas are still applicable when properly used, such as eternal internal strategy. The timeless knowledge of Musashi. When the investigation into Miyamoto, Musashi's strategic brilliance comes to an end. One thing is certain, whether on the ancient Japanese battlefields or in the boardrooms of modern enterprises, the art of outsmarting is unaffected by time or place. His life is a monument to adaptability, cunning, and never-ending learning. The guiding concepts of astute observation, flexibility, and strategic forethought are paramount. Ultimate, the philosophy invites us to see obstacles as chances to grow from every experience and to constantly change in a world that sometimes seems chaotic and unpredictable. unpredictable. The lessons of Mahi remind us of the value of having a sharp mind and encourage us to develop our tactics, refine our perspectives, and adopt an attitude of never-ending improvement.